All right, AJ, 5 minutes on the clock. I want to talk to you about golden hours. For those who might not know, this is not a photography or film thing. Well, it is, but for our purposes, I want to talk about golden hours for an SDR, right? Those hours in the day where you just have the most success, right? Where you get, people pick up the phone the most, you get the most quality connects, you have the most conversations. Because it varies. I think it's a very case by case thing. And it can even vary like for one company, just like over the course of time, maybe seasonally, things like that. So I'd love to just start off talking a little bit about your strategies for identifying those golden hours for you as an SDR.
Yeah, I think, so you touched on the biggest thing to think about here is there's a lot of literature and studies and statistics out there about like when is the best time to cold call. And I'm happy that people are doing that kind of work, but you have to take every bit of information with a grain of salt, because that person's study might not be how you set up your calendar or the same hours for the people that you prospect into. The big thing that I want people to take away from this is you need to use evidence to create an efficient agenda. And what that means is it's going to take some experimentation on your end, but finding out what your golden hours look like mean that you need to shift when you're making your dials every single day for like realistically a month to figure out when you are getting the most people to pick up, when you are getting the most responses via email. There's typically, for a lot of organizations and a lot of SDR teams, it becomes very apparent when your golden hours are, because you can just look hour by hour when you're getting the most engagement. And if you do experiment, like I was saying, then you'll be able to figure it out pretty quickly between, say, like 1 and 3 p.m., if that's when you should be doing your cold calling blocks. Because you're getting a lot of emails back, you're getting a lot of people to pick up the phone, your connect rate is going up, your engagement rate's going up. Protect that at all costs. And this is going to sound harsh. This is going to sound mean. But if you want to make money, don't ever let anybody schedule over that block of time. The golden hours are golden because you make the most money during those hours. And if you let internal meetings get in the way, if you let Slack messages get in the way, if you let, if you happen to be working in the office, a coworker to come over and start chit-chatting with you, then you're losing out on making money, essentially. I think it's Morgan Ingram. He calls them MMA, money-making activities. That block of time you need to protect with your life, and finding out when that block of time is will turn you from a good SDR into an incredibly productive, efficient, and great SDR. Yeah,
and I think it is important to know, if you're on a larger team, do this with your team. Don't just be there in a silo, right? You can have, say there's 3 people, have someone call in the morning, someone in the middle of the day, and someone in the afternoon. Maybe switch it up on occasion, but you can figure out a lot faster the larger the team is when those golden hours are. And once you figure it out, then you can hammer it in, have call blitzes during that, have little contests amongst each other. I do think you're right. It's really important to keep that time open. The one exception I might say is like if you schedule a handover call, but even then, try and avoid it. Yeah. If you can't, right? If the prospect schedule is the prospect schedule, that's fine. But even that, if you can avoid putting that over those hours where you're going to get even more leads, do that. Yeah. The other thing that I always had a challenge with was the fact that like I like having my own routine, but it didn't always line up with the prospect. So at one point when I was an SDR, I got switched from East Coast to West Coast territory, and all of a sudden I had to change my whole day up, which was, it took me longer than I'd like to admit, right? All of a sudden I was like, well, now I can't call before 10 in the morning at the earliest. And I used to love that 9 to 10 a.m. on the East Coast was a great window for me. All of a sudden I had to shift that, and now I have to call from noon to 1. That's my lunch hour. That was not fun. But at the end of the day, you have to look at when prospects are picking up the phone, because we're really there to fit within and fit into the prospect schedule to get their attention. So there can be a lot of pushback, even just like internally in your own head, but it is really important to just know, like, yeah, I'm going to have to eat lunch an hour later, but I'm going to get 2 more leads per week or per month. Being able to sort of have those experimented numbers and tell yourself, oh, this is a tangible outcome of me like messing up my own schedule, will make it all worth it and put it all into perspective. All right, AJ, 15 seconds. Tell everybody about Opt-in.
Opt-in, quick 5-ish minute videos, actionable sales development tips, minimal fluff. You can find us on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on our Instagram, and on the website, demanddrive.com.
God, it's like really cold in here, so.
So you're basically dancing.
I'm definitely going to put a sweatshirt right back on.
Why did you take it off? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going through and looking at our outfits in each of these.
Oh, they're 100% doing it.
Are they? They're going to find out. They're going to find out that we record them multiple times at once. Ruin the whole illusion. We're
Unbelievable.
not even using the same timer. We just use our own phones. There, I said it.
Don't listen to him. He's crazy.